Welcome everyone to Basic Golf Clash. This is Cole Steady coming at you with another video. Today's video we're going to do a playthrough with the Redwood Cup Tournament, Rookie Division, using medium level clubs, and of course a basic ball. The clubs I'll be using is an Extra Mile level 7, a Big Topper level 4, a Big Dog level 6, a Viper level 9, a Goliath level 6, a Thorn level 4, and a Dart level 9. So let's go. Hole number 1, Extra Mile level 7. So basically you're going to start by setting up your yellow ring right there in the middle. You're just going to try and center it right where that little gap where the fairway is. Go ahead and put 1.5 bars of backspins to prevent you from going a little too far. Once you set that up, everything's good. You go ahead and adjust 2 to 1, so it'll be just under 3 rings. I go on this side so it's easier to kind of see when you adjust your rings. Otherwise that tree could get in your way. So right when you go 2 to 1, then you're going to add your curl, which is basically, I'll call this half a ball, or right in the middle of the ball, just to prevent you from going too far right and hitting the rough on that right side. So once you hit it here, hits right in the middle, nice bounce, slows down right here at the end to set you up for your second shot. Second shot with a Thorn, level 4. So you're basically going to set up with 2 bars of backspin. I'm going to recommend you go ahead and do 2.5 just because mine comes in a little hot here. But you still want to do the same kind of setup where the ball guideline is going straight into the hole. So adjust 2 to 1, so that'll be 1.5 rings. Now you can see when I hit this, it's going to barely lip out on the right side. So you can do one of two things. You can either adjust 2 to 1 plus 10%, so adjust 3.3 miles per hour, or just aim your ball to the left side of the hole, like right on that left. So you can see I kind of lip out, but very makeable eagle. Hole number 2, Viper level 9. You're going to start by doing 3 bars of backspin, push your ball guideline up to max. Make sure you're still lined up at the hole, obviously. Once you're done with that, you're going to go 2 to 1 on your wind plus 10%. So that's basically going to be 6.2 to 6.3, which is just over 3 rings. Once you make that adjustment, you apply your curl. Now the curl I put here, I advise you to use this type of curl right here for 3 mile an hour wind to 4 mile an hour, maybe even 4.5. But once you get above 4.5 to 6, you're going to want to have the right side of that ball actually touch the outer part of that curl ring. So you're going to see I come up just a little left. If I would have gave it just a little more curl, it would have pushed that ball closer and possibly get a drop. So it's a very makeable hole in one. Hole number 3, Extra Mile level 7. So basically you're going to push your ball guideline all the way up to where your yellow ring is centered, right there in the middle. No backspin, no topspin. It'll stop nicely right there in front of the rough. See how my ball guideline's kind of lined up right to the right of that of the rough. So you do your 2 to 1, which is 2 rings, and it'll set you up nicely. If there's more wind, it'll still push your ball enough. You'll see where this hits. It's still the left to right will push your ball where you don't touch that rough. Even if you do, it'll still be set up perfectly for your next shot with the big dog. Second shot, Big Dog level 6. So what you're going to do is you're going to push up as far as you can. Now, obviously the wind's going to matter. At a 4 wind, you're going to just do a little, if it's higher than 4, you're just going to do a little less overpower. So I set up to where when I push up a little bit, that my red ring is touching that left side rough. Max topspin regardless, and you'll see my actual overpower here. So if you have a lot more wind, don't do as much overpower, otherwise you'll fly this and it'll roll quite a bit. So you can see it hits towards the bottom of that. Even though I hit it great, it rolls on down, sets you up perfectly for an easy putt. So just make sure you pay attention to the overpower. Hole number 4, Viper level 9. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to do 4.5 bars of backspin. You're going to set up to where the left part of your red ring is touching the sand and the right side of your ring is just into the rough. Once you've set it up there, you go ahead and do 2 to 1, which is going to be just less than 2 rings, and then you apply your curl. Now the curl that I use here, I would suggest you use this type of curl around 4 to 4.5. If it's 3 to 3.9, I would apply less curl. And if you're at 4.5 and above, put more curl to allow for that push that this does. So you'll see the curl I have at a 3.7, if this was a 4 wind, it would align me up perfectly. So you can see it hits, rolls on down, and I just miss. So just pay attention to the curl on this one. Hole number 5, extra mile level 7, you're going to try and overpower this and try and get up to where you can just chip it in with the dart. So you're going to go max topspin, you're going to push up as far as your overpower and make sure you're right in between the trees. Even if the wind is lower, you still want to go right in between the trees. Now, if you hit perfect or a great right, this will still be a good shot. If you miss a great left, you will hit that tree, which I have on another account. Now, even though I hit that tree on the other account, it rolls forward enough that if I use my rough iron, I can still reach, even with a low level rough iron. So it's a risk, but it's not really that high of a risk and just gives you a chip as opposed to a short iron or long iron shot. Hole number 6, extra mile level 7, max topspin. You're going to set up to where your white ring is going to be touching the rough on the right side. You'll see I go all the way up, but I don't want it to go too far. So once I apply the topspin, you'll see that's a little too close for comfort. You'll see me move it over to see if I can get as close to the right side. You do want to be close to the right side, but not enough for it to just accidentally roll up into the rough if you hit it great right. So I just set it up to where the white ring is touching the rough, 2 to 1, so it's a little over 2 rings, and then just go ahead and hit my shot. I do apply a little curl just because I'm going to hit enough left that if I hit a great right, I'm still going to be fine. You'll see I have plenty of room right there. It rolls right up. Even a great right will set you up even closer for this difficult second shot with your big dog. Second shot with the big dog. So you're going to set up with your red ring just inside the rough. You can do it on a little bit on the outside if you want to. I end up going with only 3 bars of topspin because a little more than that might roll me past the green all the way down to that rough. Now you see me push up to where my ball is going to hit with a 2 to 1. So I kind of push up a little bit just to see where it's going to land because it's going to be just under 2 rings. So once you push up and then bring it back, you should be fine. So if my wind was 5, then I'd push up to see where inside that blue ring I would land. That way I either have to push back or just keep it right where it's at to make sure I'm not going to hit the rough on this curl. So once you set up your topspin, you go ahead and you're going to do max curl. Even if you hit a great right, you should be okay, but especially if you set up with your red ring on the rough. But hit a perfect or great left, you'll definitely be fine for sure. You can see it just hits right up there, plenty of room even with 3 bars, and it just rolls right down. You'll see this final look where it's just an easy chip in with your dart. All right, just thought I'd show you the chip in. I do max topspin. Even with a 9 dart, just kind of roll it up, and even with a 4.2 going right to left, you're still going to aim basically right at the pin or slightly to the right of that pin, because if you hit great right, it'll still go in, great left, it'll still go in, perfect, it'll definitely be centered. So very easy eagle as long as you set it up the way I showed you. Hole number 7, you're going to use a big topper, level 4. You're going to do your max topspin. You're going to set up with your yellow ring is going to be right in that little hole, that little like curve right here, and you'll see where I set it up, but the yellow ring is going to be right in the middle. Once you've set that up, you're going to go ahead and do a 2 to 1 ratio. You're going to see me switch. You're going to do a 2 to 1, so basically just under 2 rings with 3.8. So you can see where I'm set up. Once you do that, you're going to do curl. Now this curl, I would advise doing a little more. You're going to see where I put my curl here. Instead of right there, you're going to want the left side of your ball to be on the outside of the ring instead of the inside, that left side right there. So that'll just give you more room. You're still going to be okay with this, but especially with more wind, but that's just a little too close for me to be happy with. You know, it sets you up for the second shot though, either way. Second shot with the thorn. So you're going to go 2 bars of backspin. Now with this one, I don't get close enough on my adjustment. You're supposed to go 2 to 1, so that should be slightly over 2.5 rings, which I actually do 2.5. But you want to aim it right into the hole. So instead of doing 2.5 rings, I should have done 2 and just a little more than a half. it still ends up being a good shot, but just to make sure that it goes in, adjust an exact 2 to 1 as close as you can to it. That way when it bounces on up, it'll go on in. So you can see I underdid it just a little bit, but it still falls. So just make sure exactly 2 to 1, 2 bars of backspin right at the hole. Hole number 8, Viper level 9, you're going to do 2 bars of backspin, and you're basically going to try and put your blue ring right on the right side of that rough. You see me kind of push it up and back and forth just to kind of find that little glitch. There is a roll glitch on this, so be aware of that. If you go too far back, it's going to hit just enough to not bounce up. You want it to bounce over that lip, but if you don't, it's going to hit the lip and take off on you. So you're going to go 2 to 1. Now you're going to see I miss a little bit to the left. I go 2 to 1, so you're going to have 2 options here. You can go 2 to 1 plus 10%, or you can add a little bit of curl. It's really up to you, a curl to the right. So even though I hit it perfect, but this is the bounce you're going to want to see. Right here, boom. See how it comes up? That'll allow your ball to slow down. If you don't see that, it is going to scoot right past and send you right down into the sand. Hole number 9, this one, basically you're going to put your yellow ring is going to touch the rough. You're going to do max topspin. Now you want your end of your second bounce to be in that rough. You need your ball to slow down, otherwise it's going to take off into there. Now I apply a little bit of curl as well, so I go 2 to 1, which is just under 3 rings, and then I apply this amount of curl just to make sure that I stay in the rough. You'll see when it hits the rough, it takes a nice bounce and just rolls you right out there into the middle. If you miss the rough here, so you got plenty of room, it just rolls on down. If you miss the rough on that, it will scoot past and you'll end up over in that far rough. Second shot with the big dog, you're going to line up your red ring with the rough, and you should be lined up directly with that tree. You'll kind of see. You're going to do 2 bars of topspin. Now this is deceiving because 2 bars doesn't look like it's going to be enough, but it will. If you apply more than that, you'll roll past. If you apply less, you may not hit the hill to roll on down. So you can see I put 2 bars. Now you can see I'm completely lined up with that tree. I line up with the red, and then I go 2 to 1, which is basically just under 2.5 rings. Once you set up there, you're going to do max curl to the left. Whether you hit great right or left, you still should be fine, but I just push it as far over and just let the ball roll on down to the hole. Now you can see I hit perfect even with a great right or a great left. It'll still hit that and just kind of roll, hit the side, roll, 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 and you can see just keep on going, and really close to even getting the albatross. So great right, great left, you should still be fine with that type of shot. Okay, that does it for this playthrough with medium level clubs, rookie division for the Redwood Cup. Hopefully you found I gave you at least a few ideas on how to go after these difficult holes. Most of the scores that I'm seeing are anywhere from -10 to -11 will get you in pretty easily. -12 will put you up at the top. So following these tips, you should be able to get -13, -14. But -11, -12 should be just fine to get you to that opening round. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell for future content. This is Cole Steady signing off, and good luck.